Hello and welcome to Thursday Morning with LindaZ. I'm Debbie, and we are back with the pair of pants that you guys saw in one of our previous videos. We had an issue with the zipper not being, well, actually it broke. We thought it broke. And so we were going to replace the zipper, and we were going to show you how to do that. And we still are going to do that actually in another video. But we found a really quick fix. And so we're going to show a little close-up of what we did. I was talking to my son earlier today, and I was playing around with the zipper, and then all of a sudden I could zip it up again. We had teeth missing down at the bottom, and I was just trying it, and so now the zipper works again, and we're just going to show you the quick fix here. We could also replace the zipper, and there's a couple other things that we could do with this pair of pants. I see the buttonhole needs some tender loving care. We got all the thread is gone from this buttonhole, so we could re-sew a buttonhole over this and try to figure that out, which is really great. We want to reinforce this. So it's just making garments live longer. Today I had the Bernina 435 because I was planning on doing a zipper with you all. And this is the reason I chose this 435 machine is because it's very portable. It's a wonderful machine to carry with you to places. And then the second most important reason I chose it was for this foot. This is probably my favorite Bernina foot, actually, if I could have a favorite foot. Number 4 is the number, and it's not a 4D, not a 4C. It's the skinny, I love this skinny zipper foot is what it's called. It's not called a skinny zipper foot, but it is skinny, and you can get really close to your top stitching. You can do quilting with it, top stitching. You can make bags with it. You can put zippers in for sure, and get really close to the teeth of your zipper. So that's why I chose this machine, because I really wanted to show off the 4 doing the zipper. So when we do end up replacing a zipper on the pants, I definitely will be using a Bernina, and I will be using the 4. All the other brands, they have their zipper feet, and they can be used because what you do is you've got a bar that's in the center position, and you need to be able to move your needle over to the right or to the left. And if the foot is wider, you're moving it over a little bit more. And so it's doable. You can get to the edge of your zipper foot by just changing the position of your needle on your machine to the right or to the left, whichever is more comfortable for you when you're sewing on your projects. And so that was what I was going to talk about, was the 435. It's a mid-range, pretty much closer to the entry-level Bernina machine, and it's beautiful. It's got the 5.5 millimeter stitch width. So it's great for piecing, for quilting, for straight stitch, for a smaller zigzag. Your zigzag is here. You can see the width of the zigzag. That's the maximum width of the zigzag that you can do. And we always, this comes from factory, the perfect stitch out of a satin stitch zigzag on the machine. And just to show you how wide the decorative stitches can go on the machine. And the white bobbin thread is in perfect positioning on the back. So that's the Bernina for you. Some of the features of the Bernina that I love are the ability to remove the presser feet so quickly, right? So I took off the one foot, I believe, that was on there, and I can just put on with my one hand. But remember that when you do put a foot on, the needle position is usually in the center, so you do want to quickly move the needle position if you're putting your zipper foot on. Move that needle position, otherwise you can break a needle pretty quickly by inadvertently pushing down on your foot control, your foot control, or your if you turn it on, right? Because there's an on-off button that you can turn on and not use the pedal if you don't want to. And then another really fun feature of the Berninas is the ability to take these stitch plates off so quickly. I love that so much about the Berninas. But you know, there's one more thing, and there's a million things, right, that I love about these. But there's the bobbins now on this very affordable machine. 70% more bobbin thread in the bobbins, right? So you get these bobbins, and if you're a piecing machine and you love to piece your pieces on your quilt, your blocks on your quilt, you can go so long with just one bobbin. It's really, really great. The Bernina, those bigger bobbins are just fabulous. So gotta say, I love this machine. It's the 435. And we've got a few of them in stock. I know that there's a spring sale going on, and if you're interested in that, definitely run over and get one of those. And don't forget to get your 4 foot, because I don't know if the 4 actually comes with it. If it does, great. If it doesn't, get it for sure, because it's a really great foot. So now why don't we come in closer so you can see exactly how I actually did this fix on this zipper. And it spared us the cost of a new zipper, spared us the cost of time, right? Because time is money, right? And so that was a really quick fix. We can hand sew it together at another time, but just want to show you how quick it was to get that zipper back in with the, it was nice that the teeth were missing so far down, because then I could try it. And so come on over and let's take a look at that. You can see here that there are at least 2 teeth missing from the zipper. There's a gap there on the zipper tape with the 2 teeth missing. And so I originally thought I would have to replace this whole zipper. It's a metal teeth zipper. I was going to replace it with just a nylon tooth zipper. But then I realized as I was playing around with it this morning before we started filming that I could actually feed it into from the gap. I could use that gap and feed the next tooth right into the top hole here of the pull that's still attached. The pull is still attached, so it's to one side. And so I could feed the other teeth by going down as low as I can on the zipper, the pull, and then bringing the teeth into that top opening there, and then just, right? So just closing the zipper. So I thought, oh, wow, okay, so that could be a problem if I open it again, because there's that gap, and it would just come open again, and you have to do that every time you zip up. But if I were to sew across that where the last 2 teeth join, sew across there, I would suggest by hand sewing, because otherwise we could, let's see, how could we do that by machine? It's a little bit too far in there to do it by machine, because you'd want to get, really flat in there. I would have to tear out a little bit. So if you're not afraid of hand sewing, you can grab a needle and thread and just stitch over that so that the thread will keep the pull from going beyond that gap. And so the zipper will stay intact. So basically, if you can get in and out of your pants, lowering it only to this height, that's a good fix for your zipper. So for today, I think that's what we're going to do with this pair of pants, because I think we can do that as a fix for this pair of pants. So that was the hurry fix. The not so hurry fix would be to take this apart so you've got you've got top stitching. I don't know if you can see the top stitching here, but there is some top stitching that is along here in a shape of like a J, right? It's a J, and so it's got 2 rows of stitching here in a J, and I have to take those out first. So they have to come in and pick with a seam ripper, pick those out, and then I would be releasing what they call the flap here. So this piece of fabric here is sewn down with those 2 layers of fabric, and then I would have to get to the 2 layers of stitching that is holding the zipper in place on just the one side. So the zipper is in place in here, but you don't see stitching on the top. And then we've got the other side that's stitched down the zipper, and that's on this piece of fabric right here. It's only stitched to this piece of fabric, the zipper is. So I would have to take 2 rows of stitching out for that. And that's just one side of the zipper. And then when we get to the other side of the zipper, that is stitched down front to back, one single stitch right along the edge of the teeth. So that's, and then the zipper itself, you can see both sides of the zipper here it's just tucked briefly under the waistband of the garment. And you've got that, the stop of the zipper that's exposed here, because you don't want it to go all the way into the waistband of the pant. So you want to make sure that your stop is placed just below. So on the new zipper, here's a zipper, for example. On the new zipper, there's a stop here. So we'd want to make sure that that stop is exposed partially, and then we would tuck into this. We would have to tear out just a little bit of the waistband, not the entire, I originally thought I would have to tear out most of the waistband, but we'll have to remove and hold back on the back some of the waistband and then tuck it in the front. And then we would, once it's tucked into the front and sewn down and in place, then we could, because it's tucked underneath there then at that point, then we would top stitch that back again so that that is back in place. Just that one bottom seam would have to be removed, just a small amount, hopefully just a small amount. And on that side, and then on this side, we have the buttonhole there. But it's the same thing. The zipper is only up to about this here. I can feel where it stops. I can feel where the zipper is no longer going up farther than that. So you would just be pulling out the zipper from that area and then putting in the replacement, and then we would be stitching down. Right, so the other side of the zipper is just stitched down in the one stitch all the way down, and then you're going to just backtrack back and forth to make sure it's reinforced here. And then at the other side of the you can see where the J is on the front. We're going to go to the back here, and just so between the two flaps, we're going to just stitch them, reinforce them together. And that's not through to the front, so you don't see this reinforcement. See how it's just that reinforcement. You can see where my finger is. It's just reinforced, reinforcing them together so that you are not going to be putting more pressure on the zipper than needs to be put on the zipper, right? So that's a reinforcement stitch. We'd have to tear that out also to replace the zipper, because then it would expose the bottom of the zipper right here. See, so then when this flap would be opened up here, you would be able to see the entire zipper and then stitch it down pretty easily. So yeah, no, this is pretty cool. Okay, so that was it in a nutshell, and very quick fix. If any of you who've seen this video want to see us replace the zipper on a pair of pants, I'd really like to be able to jump in and do that. I'm not sure if my son wants me to then do that on his pants. We'll find a pair of pants and we'll do it for you. So just let us know in the comments and we'll do that. So I love doing stuff like that. So it'd be fun to do that another time. Have a nice day, everyone. See you next time.